The conference room smelled like stale coffee and desperation. I sat at the long table, laptop open, pretending to review quarterly reports. 12 people surrounded me. My team. People I'd trained. People I'd helped. Mr. Harlan stood at the head, adjusting his tie. That nervous habit he had before making announcements. "Before we wrap up today," he said, clearing his throat, "I have important news." The room went quiet. Everyone stopped typing. He smiled. Not the friendly kind. The kind that meant someone was about to get hurt. Effective immediately, Kyle will be taking over as operations lead. Kyle, 24 years old. 6 months at the company. I'd trained him myself. He couldn't even run our inventory system without asking me 3 questions first. Polite applause filled the room. Kyle sat up straighter, trying to look confident. A few people glanced at me. Quick looks. Sympathy mixed with relief that it wasn't them. Mr. Harlan continued like I wasn't sitting right there. "We're moving in a new direction. Fresh perspective. Kyle brings innovative energy." He looked directly at me for the first time. "Daniel, we'll discuss your transition separately." I set down my pen. Under the table, my phone sat in my jacket pocket. Inside that phone was an email from 2 weeks ago. A signed contract. A number that would change everything. Mr. Harlan didn't know what I'd been doing for the past 4 months. Neither did Kyle. But they were about to find out. I'd spent 6 years building this department from nothing. 6 years of staying late when everyone else went home. 6 years of fixing problems nobody else could solve. And this was my thank you. Before I go on, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely connect with this story and enjoy seeing justice served. Drop your location in the comments. I love knowing where you're listening from. My name is Daniel Cross. I'm 34 years old. I work at Beacon Solutions in Denver, Colorado. We're a mid-sized logistics company. We help manufacturers move products efficiently, track shipments, optimize routes, save money. It's not glamorous work, but it matters. I started here straight out of college. Entry-level coordinator. Worked my way up. 3 years ago, I became operations lead. My team handled our biggest clients. Automotive parts, medical supplies, electronics. Millions of dollars moving through our systems every month. Mr. Harlan became director 18 months ago. Came from a consulting fame in Chicago. Big ideas. Expensive suits. Talked about disruption and efficiency like he invented them. The first 3 months were fine. Then things changed. The first time Mr. Harlan took credit for my work, I thought it was a mistake. We'd landed Apex Manufacturing as a client. Big account. Worth $400,000 annually. My team spent 2 months building their logistics system. Custom routing. Real-time tracking. Everything they needed. The CEO wanted a presentation. Mr. Harlan volunteered. "You're too technical, Daniel," he said. "I speak their language. Trust me." I built the slides. He presented them. Apex loved it. Signed a 3-year contract. The company newsletter ran a story. Director Harlan's strategic vision lands major client. My team wasn't mentioned. Not once. When I brought it up carefully, Mr. Harlan smiled. "Daniel, leadership means elevating the team. I represented us. That's what directors do." He patted my shoulder. "Don't be so focused on individual credit." I went home that night and couldn't sleep. My wife Sophia asked what was wrong. "Nothing," I said. But it wasn't nothing. It was the start of a pattern I'd spend the next year documenting without anyone knowing. 6 months later, it happened again. Then again. Every major client win got attributed to his strategic leadership. My salary stayed flat. My title stayed the same. The breaking point came 4 months ago. We landed Titan Logistics. National carrier. 300 trucks. They needed a complete system overhaul. The contract was worth $1.8 million over 3 years. My team worked 70-hour weeks for 2 months. I personally designed the algorithm that cut their delivery times by 22%. Titan's operations VP called me directly. "Daniel, this is exceptional. You've saved us a fortune." 1 week later, Mr. Harlan announced at the all-hands meeting that his partnership strategy had positioned Beacon for record growth. He got a $20,000 bonus. I got a coffee mug with the company logo. That night, I started keeping records. Every email, every project timeline, Every client conversation. I created a folder on my personal laptop. Hidden. Organized. Evidence of who did what. Sophia noticed I was staying up late. "Is using you," she said. We sat at our kitchen table. Our son Lucas, 6 years old, was asleep upstairs. "You built that department. Everyone knows it." "I know," I said, but I didn't know what to do about it. We had a mortgage. Lucas's school. Sophia's parents needed help. I couldn't just quit. "You could do this anywhere," Sophia said quietly. "You could probably do it better somewhere else." That planted something, a seed that would take 4 months to grow. 2 months after that conversation, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. "This is Daniel," I said. "Daniel Cross." The voice was professional. Male. Confident. "My name is Warren Oakes. I'm VP of Operations at Summit Logistics. We're expanding our Western division. Your name keeps coming up." I sat up straighter in my chair. "How did you get my number?" He laughed. "Titan's Operations VP mentioned you at a conference last month. Said you're the reason their delivery system actually works. I looked you up. Very impressive track record. I'd published 2 case studies in industry journals last year, both under Beacon's name, but with my name as lead author. Mr. Harlan approved them because they made the company look good. He never thought they'd make me visible to competitors," Warren continued. "We're looking for someone to lead our Rocky Mountain operations hub. Someone who's built real solutions for real companies. Not just theory. Your name is at the top of our list. Would you be interested in talking?" My heart pounded. Summit Logistics was one of the biggest in the region. 3 times Beacon's size. "Yes," I said. "I'm very interested." Over the next 8 weeks, I had 13 video calls with Summit. Each one dug deeper. What would my approach be? How would I build the team? I worked on presentations late at night after Lucas went to bed. Sophia brought me coffee and asked questions that made my ideas sharper. Warren introduced me to his executive team, then to potential clients who'd already signed up for the new hub. "If you build this, we'll be your first contract," a manufacturing VP told me. By week 7, Summit made an offer. Operations Director, $140,000 base salary, performance bonuses, equity options, full benefits. They'd give me 6 months to build the team and launch the hub. The catch was I had to commit full-time. No backup plan, just me betting on myself. I sat with the offer letter for 2 days. Read it dozens of times. Sophia read it too. "What's the worst that happens?" she asked. "We tighten our budget for a few months." I nodded. She smiled. "Then let's do it. Sign it." I signed it on a Tuesday morning. 2 weeks ago. The same week, Mr. Harlan announced budget freezes and told my team there'd be no raises this year. For 2 weeks, I lived 2 lives. During the day, I was Daniel Cross, operations lead at Beacon Solutions. I ran meetings. I delivered reports. I trained Kyle when Mr. Harlan hired him as future leadership development. At night, I was Daniel Cross, incoming operations director at Summit Logistics. I reviewed org charts. I drafted hiring plans. Nobody at work knew. Not my team. Not HR. Not Mr. Harlan. I came in at 8:30 every morning. Left at 5:30 every evening. Smiled in meetings. Said yes when Mr. Harlan asked me to handle things Kyle should have learned himself. I documented everything. Project files. Client emails. Code I'd written. Systems I'd designed. My personnel file showed 6 years of performance reviews calling me essential and irreplaceable. My salary increases averaged 2.4% each year, while I generated millions in revenue. The night before the meeting, Sophia asked if I was nervous. "No," I said, and I meant it. I'd built something real. I had a signed contract. I had funding to build a team. I had proof of every line Mr. Harlan had told about who did the actual work. Tomorrow, I'd walk into that conference room for the last time. But Mr. Harlan didn't know that yet. The morning of the meeting, I got a final email. "Warren Oakes at Summit Logistics. Welcome aboard, Daniel. HR has processed everything. Start date confirmed for next Monday. Looking forward to building something great together." I stayed at my phone in the parking lot. $140,000. Real money, real opportunity, real respect. The office space was ready. Small team to start. but mine to build. I walked into Beacon's building at 8:15, rode the elevator to the 3rd floor, made coffee in the break room like I had for 6 years, checked my email, answered questions from my team. At 9:40, my calendar reminder popped up. Department meeting. Conference room C required attendance that I picked up my laptop and a folder I'd prepared last night. Inside were printed copies of everything that mattered. I walked down the hallway. Through the glass walls, I could see Mr. Harlan already at the head of the table. Kyle sat beside him. Both of them talking. Both of them relaxed. 12 people filled the conference room. My whole team plus Mr. Harlan, Kyle, and 2 managers from other departments. Everyone had coffee. Everyone looked tired. Tuesday morning meetings always dragged. Mr. Harlan started with budget updates, then client renewals. Standard stuff. People took notes or pretended to. 25 minutes in, Mr. Harlan set down his tablet. Before we wrap up today, I have an announcement. His voice shifted, more formal. Effective immediately, Kyle will be taking over as operations lead. We're moving in a new direction. The room went silent. Absolutely silent. I watched people's faces. Shock. Confusion. Nobody looked at me directly. Kyle tried to look confident, but his hands were shaking slightly under the table. Mr. Harlan continued. I want to thank everyone for your flexibility during this transition. Change is good for growth. Fresh perspectives drive innovation. He looked at me. Daniel, we'll discuss your new role separately. Nothing to worry about. Just restructuring. My new role. Translation, demotion, or elimination. I'd seen it happen to others. Reassigned to meaningless projects until they quit. Any questions? Mr. Harlan asked the room. Silence. Nobody wanted to be first to speak. Great. Moving on to next quarter's projections. He continued talking. Numbers and strategies. Kyle nodded along like he understood. The room pretended this was normal. Professional. Just business. 15 minutes later, Mr. Harlan started wrapping up. Anything else before we adjourn? I took a breath. Opened my laptop. Actually, I said quietly, I have something. Mr. Harlan's eyebrows went up. Daniel. He said it like a question, like I was interrupting. Can it wait? We're running long. No, I said, still quiet, still calm. Everyone should see this. I turned my laptop screen toward the table. The display showed a spreadsheet. Clean. Simple. 3 columns. Project name, lead engineer, client value. 36 rows. 6 years of work. My name appeared in 32 of those rows. Mr. Harlan's name appeared in 0. But the 4th column was different. Presented by. Mr. Harlan's name showed up 32 times. What is this? Mr. Harlan asked. His voice had an edge now. Kyle leaned forward, squinting at the screen. 2 people from my team smiled slightly. The kind of smile you try to hide. This is a record, I said. Every major project this department completed since I joined. Who actually led the work versus who presented it to clients and upper management. I scrolled slowly. Apex Manufacturing. That logistics system that saved them hundreds of thousands. I built that. My team and I spent 2 months. You presented it. Titan Logistics. Their routing algorithm. I designed that. Every line of code. You got a $20,000 bonus for my work. Mr. Harlan's face went red. Daniel, this is completely inappropriate. We're a team. Everything we do is collaborative. You're being unprofessional. You're right, I said. It is collaborative. My team collaborated. I led them. You took credit. I clicked to the next slide. The screen showed emails. Time-stamped. From me to Mr. Harlan, asking to present our own work. His response is, I'll handle client-facing work. You focus on technical. From clients, praising specific solutions. From Mr. Harlan to upper management, never mentioning my name. From HR, showing my salary history. 2.4% increases every year. While I generated millions, the room was completely silent. Nobody moved. Even Kyle stopped pretending to look confident. Mr. Harlan stood up. His chair scraped against the floor. This meeting is over. Daniel, my office. Now. His voice was loud, angry, but I noticed his hands were shaking. No, I said. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't stand. Just said it calmly. I'm not going to your office. I'm finishing this. You're being insubordinate, Mr. Harlan said. I could fire you right now for this behavior. This is harassment. This is creating a hostile work environment. You could try, I agreed. But you won't. Because you need me to finish Titan's Q2 report. You need me to train Kyle on systems he doesn't understand. You need me because this department runs on work I do that you can't. I clicked to the next slide. The new slide showed a logo. Summit Logistics. Clean. Professional. Below it, my new title, Director of Rocky Mountain Operations. Below that, my start date, next Monday. What is that? Mr. Harlan's voice cracked slightly. Kyle's mouth opened but no sound came out. Two managers from other departments looked like they wanted to leave but couldn't move. That's my new job, I said. I accepted it 2 weeks ago. Same week you announced hiring freezes while approving your own raise. I clicked again. I'm giving notice effective immediately. But I'm using my accumulated vacation time. 43 days. So actually, I'm done now. Today. This meeting. Mr. Harlan slammed his hand on the table. Coffee cups jumped. One spilled slightly. You can't do this. You have a non-compete clause. This is breach of contract. This is theft of intellectual property. I'll have our lawyers contact Summit immediately. I'd expected that. I pulled a paper from my folder, slid it across the table to him. That's my employment contract. Page 9. Read the non-compete section. It says I can't solicit Beacon's clients for 6 months after leaving. I didn't solicit anyone. Summit recruited me. They reached out first. I have emails proving it with timestamps. I smiled. Small. Controlled. That's not breach. That's responding to an opportunity. Mr. Harlan grabbed the contract. His hand shook as he scanned the page. Kyle had gone pale. He was realizing he was about to lead a team with no one who respected him and no understanding of how anything actually worked. You've been planning this, Mr. Harlan said. Not a question. An accusation. For months. While taking our salary. While using company time and resources. 8 weeks, I corrected. Since you told me budget cuts meant no raises this year. While you parked your new Mercedes in the executive spot. And I didn't use company time. Every conversation with Summit happened during lunch or after hours. I have phone records. I have calendar entries. Everything documented. I clicked to another slide. This one showed my intellectual property analysis. A lawyer's letterhead at the top. Every system I built using methods I developed independently. The routing algorithms. The tracking protocols. I created those on my own time using my own resources. They are mine. Not Beacon's. I had an attorney review everything. I looked at Mr. Harlan directly. You're welcome to have your legal team contact mine. The information is on that sheet. One of my team members spoke. Angela from Data Analysis. Her voice was quiet but clear. Good for you, Daniel. 2 others nodded. These were people who'd worked with me for years. Who knew exactly what I'd done versus what Mr. Harlan claimed. Mr. Harlan looked around the room, seeing for the first time that nobody was on his side. This is betrayal, he said. After everything this company did for you. After I mentored you. After I gave you opportunities. After everything I did for this company, I corrected. 6 years. Every major client we have, I brought in or saved. You presented. I delivered. You got bonuses. I got coffee mugs. I closed my laptop. Picked up my folder. Kyle, good luck. You'll need it. The Titan account alone requires understanding 4 different systems and 3 proprietary algorithms. I built them. Mr. Harlan can't explain them. And I'm not leaving documentation because legally, I don't have to. Kyle's face went white. Daniel, wait. You can't just leave me with nothing. That's not fair. I need transition materials. It's standard procedure. I pulled out another paper from my folder. That's company policy on transitions. Section 7. Transition materials are required for shared systems and standard procedures, not for proprietary work developed independently. Every major system I built outside standard work hours using methods I created. They are mine. The attorney letter explains it all. You can't do this, Mr. Harlan said again. But his voice was quieter now. Defeated. He'd lost control of the room, lost control of the narrative, lost control of everything. I already did, I said. 8 weeks ago when Summit first called. You just weren't paying attention. I looked at my team. Anyone who wants to reach out? My contact info is on LinkedIn. Summit will be hiring in 3 months. We're looking for good people. People who actually do the work and want credit for it. Angela smiled. So did 2 others. I could see them thinking, calculating, wondering if they should make the jump too. I stood up, pushed in my chair. Mr. Harlan moved toward me. Daniel, wait. Let's talk about this privately. We can work something out. A raise. A real promotion. Maybe even a partnership track. I looked at him. Really looked at him. A partnership. I repeated. Mr. Harlan, I've been your partner for 6 years. I just didn't get the title or the pay or the credit. Now I'm my own partner at a company that actually values what I do. I picked up my laptop bag. Your move is to figure out how to keep the clients I built relationships with. Maybe start by learning what they actually need instead of just showing up to take credit. I walked toward the door. The hallway outside had people pretending not to watch. Word traveled fast in offices this size. By lunch, everyone would know. I walked to my desk, put my few personal items in a box. A photo of Sophia and Lucas at the park. My favorite coffee mug that Sophia gave me. A small plant that had survived 6 years of fluorescent lights. Behind me, the conference room door opened. Angela walked out. Daniel. I turned. She was smiling. I quit too. If Summit's hiring in 3 months, I want to be first on the list. I'm done working for people who don't know what I do. She held out her hand. I shook it. You'll be my first call, I said. And I meant it. By noon, 4 more people from my team had sent me LinkedIn messages. Interested in opportunities. Let's grab coffee soon. Following your new company page. These were people who'd watched Mr. Harlan take credit for years. Who'd stayed quiet because they needed paychecks. Now they saw someone actually do something about it. I drove home at 12:30, middle of a Tuesday. Unheard of, Sophia was working from home in our study. She looked up when I walked in early. You're back. She saw my face. Saw the box. You did it. I did it, I confirmed. I set down my box. Showed her my phone. The messages from team members. The look on Mr. Harlan's face that Angela had described in her text. It's real. It's happening. Sophia hugged me tight. The kind of hug that means I'm proud of you and I knew you could do it. How do you feel? She asked. Terrified, I admitted. And free. A new email appeared on my phone. From Beacon's HR director. Subject. Exit. Interview required. Mr. Harlan's moving fast. Trying to control the damage. Let him try, Sophia said. You have the truth. You have the proof. You have the new job. She was right. But part of me still worried. What if Summit changed their mind? What if Mr. Harlan found a way to sabotage this? He can't touch you, Sophia said, reading my face. You documented everything. You did this right. You're clean. That night, Lucas asked why I was home early. I got a new job, I told him. A better one, he asked. Much better, I said. Doing what you do now. Same work. Different company. People who appreciate it. Lucas thought about that. That's good, Daddy. Simple. Clear. The way kids see things. The exit interview was scheduled for Thursday. I showed up at 2 p.m. HR Director Phil Van sat across from me with a laptop and papers. Daniel, thanks for coming. Standard procedure. We want to understand your decision and ensure a smooth transition. Sure, I said. I'd prepared. Had my lawyer's number ready if needed. Phil opened his laptop. Can you walk me through why you're leaving Beacon? I'm taking a director position at Summit Logistics, I said. Better opportunity. Better compensation. Better alignment with my career goals. Beacon was great for learning, but it's time to move forward. Phil nodded, typing. And the manner of your departure. The presentation in the meeting. That was unusual. Some might say unprofessional. I presented facts, I said calmly. Documented evidence of work completed versus credit given. Everything I showed was true and verifiable. If that made people uncomfortable, maybe the issue is what was being documented, not the documentation itself. Phil almost smiled. Fair point. He typed more. The non-compete clause. You understand Mr. Harlan wants legal to review your new position. Completely understand, I said. I pulled out my folder. I didn't breach anything. Summit recruited me. I have the initial contact email with timestamps. I didn't solicit clients. I didn't use company resources for the job search. I slid copies across the table. My attorney reviewed everything. I'm fully compliant. You can keep those copies. Phil reviewed the documents. His expression changed. Less formal. More thoughtful. Summit reached out to you first. Not a question. An observation. Yes, I confirmed. Their VP called me 6 weeks ago. Said if I was interested in opportunities, they wanted to talk. I didn't reach out to them. I didn't promise anything while employed here. I responded after they contacted me multiple times. Phil closed his laptop, leaned back in his chair. Off the record. I nodded. Mr. Harlan's been saying you stole clients, intellectual property, trade secrets. He wants legal action. But from what I'm seeing, you're clean. You followed your contract. You documented everything. And honestly, the presentation you gave made him look bad because it was true. I don't need to lie, I said. The truth is sufficient. Phil almost smiled again. Between us, I've had concerns about Mr. Harlan's management for a while. High turnover. Complaints about credit. But he delivers revenue, so upper management overlooks it. Now his top performer is leaving legally and taking knowledge with him. That's a problem Mr. Harlan created himself. What happens now? I asked. You finish exit process. We process final paycheck. I make my report to upper management about what I found versus what Mr. Harlan claimed. Good luck at Summit, Daniel. I mean that. I walked out of Beacon's building for the last time at 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. 6 years in that place. 6 years of early mornings and late nights. 6 years of believing hard work would be rewarded. I sat in my car for 5 minutes. Just breathing. Really done. My phone buzzed. Text from Warren at Summit. Heard you made your exit. How are you feeling? I typed back. Ready. Looking forward to Monday. He sent back. Perfect. See you at 8 a.m. for onboarding. Monday. 4 days away. I'd officially start as operations director. No backup. No safety net. Just me and the opportunity to build something from scratch with people who valued the work. I picked up Lucas from school. He climbed into the back seat with his backpack. Hi, Daddy. You early again. I had time today, I said. Want to get ice cream? His eyes went huge. It's Thursday. We only get ice cream on Fridays. New rule, I said. We get ice cream when we want. That weekend, I prepared. Read through Summit's operations manual. Reviewed the org chart. Studied the clients I'd be working with. Sophia helped me set up my home office for the transition period. Lucas decorated my desk with drawings Sunday night. I couldn't sleep. Excited. Nervous. Ready. Everything I'd worked for was about to start. No more being someone else's invisible support. No more watching credit go elsewhere. Just me and my work and people who cared about results. Monday morning, I arrived at Summit's office at 7:30. The building was newer than Beacon's. Glass and steel. Modern. My badge worked on the first try. Security smiled and welcomed me. I found my office. Actual office with a door and a window. My name already on the plate. Daniel Cross, Director of Operations. Warren met me at 8. Welcome officially. Ready for the grand tour. We walked through the building. He introduced me to people. This is Daniel, our new operations director. Is going to build our Rocky Mountain hub. People smiled. Shook my hand. Actually seemed interested at AT10. We had my first team meeting. 5 people who'd be my core team. Welcome everyone, Warren said. Daniel's going to lead this division. I'll let him introduce himself and share the vision. I stood up, looked at 5 faces watching me, expecting me to prove myself. I'm Daniel. I spent 6 years at Beacon Solutions building their operations from the ground up. We're going to do the same thing here, but better, with full transparency, full credit where it's due, full collaboration. Questions? One person raised a hand. What's your management style? I believe in trusting people to do their jobs, I said. I believe in documentation. I believe in giving credit. If you do good work, everyone will know it's yours. That's the culture we're building. They nodded, smiled. We spent 2 hours talking strategy. By lunch, I felt energized. This was right. This was what I'd been working toward. 3 weeks after I left Beacon, I heard through former colleagues what happened. Mr. Harlan tried to keep operations running, tried to service Titan himself, failed spectacularly. Titan's VP called him out in a quarterly review for not understanding basic system functionality. They pulled their contract after one disastrous meeting point. 2 other major clients followed within a month. Beacon's revenue dropped 18% in 1 quarter. Upper management started asking hard questions. Phil from HR submitted his report. The one showing Mr. Harlan's pattern of taking credit, high turnover, client losses. Mr. Harlan got reassigned, not fired. Companies rarely fire directors outright, but moved to business development with no direct reports. No projects, just networking. His new Mercedes disappeared from the executive lot. Angela texted me, "Karma is beautiful." I didn't celebrate hearing that. I felt nothing. Mr. Harlan built his own consequences. I'd just removed myself from the damage. Summit was growing. My team was hiring. We'd landed 4 new clients in 3 weeks. Revenue projecting to hit target 6 months early. We were building something real. Something sustainable. Something honest. 4 months after leaving Beacon, my team had grown to 12 people. We'd launched the Rocky Mountain Hub ahead of schedule. Clients were happy. Upper management at Summit praised my leadership approach. One Tuesday morning, I got an email from Mr. Harlan. Subject, professional inquiry. I almost deleted it. Curiosity 1. Daniel, I hope this finds you well. I've been following Summit's success in the industry. Impressive growth. I'm currently exploring new opportunities and wondered if you might have room on your team for someone with my experience and network. I believe I could add significant value. Best regards. I read it 3 times. Sophia read it over my shoulder. Is he serious? Is asking you for a job? Looks like it, I said. I thought about it for 1 day. What would hiring him prove? What would it cost the culture I was building? Finally, I wrote back. Mr. Harlan, thank you for reaching out. I appreciate your interest in Summit. However, we're building a culture based on transparency, direct credit, and individual recognition for work completed. Based on our history, I don't believe we'd be a good fit. I wish you well in finding the right opportunity. Daniel. Professional. Clean. Final. I hit send and closed my laptop. That chapter was over. 6 months after walking out of that conference room, Summit's Rocky Mountain division had 18 employees, 9 major clients, and revenue approaching $4 million annually. We were profitable. We were growing. We were hiring, and every person on my team knew exactly how much value they created because we tracked it transparently. We celebrated wins together. We gave credit publicly. Sophia said I smiled more now. Lucas said I was home for dinner every night. Both were true. I worked hard, maybe harder than at Beacon. But it was different when you built something that belonged to you. When your name was on the work and the credit and the results, former Beacon people kept reaching out, asking about opportunities. I interviewed them carefully, asked about Mr. Harlan, about what changed after I left. Most said the same thing. You showed us it was possible. We were just waiting for proof. Angela joined Summit 2 months after I started, became my senior operations analyst. 3 others from my old team followed over the next 6 months. They all said the same thing. They'd been ready to leave for years but needed to see someone actually do it successfully first. Warren called me into his office one day. Daniel, we're impressed with your division's performance. We want to expand. Double the team. Double the territory. Are you ready for that? Absolutely, I said. And I was. This was what I'd been working toward. Not just a job, a career, a team, a culture, recognition for actual work. That night at dinner, Lucas asked what I did at work. I help companies move things efficiently, I said. Like what? Like making sure packages get where they need to go on time without wasting money. He thought about that. That's important, Daddy. It is, I agreed. And it felt good to do important work and get recognized for it. 1 year after leaving Beacon, Summit's Rocky Mountain division had 30 employees, 15 major clients, and revenue approaching 7 million. We were expanding into 2 new states. I'd been promoted to regional director. My salary had doubled, but more than that, I'd built something I was proud of. A team that trusted each other. A culture where people got credit for their work. An environment where documentation and transparency mattered. I received an industry award for operational innovation. Stood on stage at a conference with 500 people. Accepted the recognition. Thanked my team publicly by name. That's what Mr. Holland never understood. Recognition isn't a limited resource. Giving credit doesn't diminish you. It builds loyalty. It creates culture. It attracts talent. Former colleagues from Beacon sent congratulations. Some mentioned Mr. Holland had left the company entirely, taken a position at a smaller firm in another state. I felt nothing hearing that. No satisfaction. No vindication. Just acknowledgement that everyone ends up where they belong. I'd found where I belonged. Leading a team that valued the same things I did. Building systems that actually help people. Getting recognized for work I actually did. Sophia framed the award certificate and hung it in my home office. Lucas told his friends his dad won a prize for being good at his job. Simple. True. Perfect. Sometimes people ask me if I regret how I left Beacon. If I wish I'd handled it differently. Been quieter. More diplomatic. I tell them no. I documented the truth. I presented facts. I followed every rule. If that made people uncomfortable, the problem wasn't how I left. It was what had been happening before I did. That I showed my team at Summit the same presentation I showed at Beacon. The one tracking who did work versus who got credit. This is why documentation matters, I told them. This is why we track everything transparently. This is why everyone here gets their name on their work. They understood. They appreciated it. They worked harder because they knew their work was seen and valued. That's the lesson I carry forward. Quiet patience has limits. Documentation matters. Truth wins when you have proof. And sometimes the best revenge is building something better than what tried to diminish you. That I don't know if this story will help anyone. But if you're reading this and sitting in a conference room where someone takes credit for your work, where your boss announces your replacement like you're disposable, know this: you have options. Document everything. Build in silence. And when you're ready, walk out with proof and dignity. That's what I did. And I'd do it again. Every single time.